Mike Pence calling out the anonymous official who penned the scathing New York Times op-ed.
It's un-American, and I think that's why you've seen Republicans and Democrats condemn this. The American people vote for a president. They fully expect the president to be able to surround themselves with men and women who will work with them in advancing their agenda.
The vice president even saying he would submit a lie detector test to prove he wasn't the author. So is that what it's going to take to find out who wrote it? Here now to debate is Democratic Strategist Max Burns and New York City Councilman Borelli. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
How far do you think the administration goes to try and figure this out, Max?
I think a lie detector test, unfortunately, requires a pulse, which Mike Pence might find a little difficult. But it's stunning to see this machine break down in such spectacular fashion. I mean, the president, had it been Obama, would have been investigated immediately by Congress if an op-ed had come out that was anything like the one we've seen.
Perhaps a little bit much to say there about the vice president, I would think. Joe, what do you think?
I think the vice president is very competent, and the Trump administration is doing a pretty darn good job giving all the results we're seeing. That said, I think you're going to see a pretty significant investigation, whether criminal or not. I mean, we just don't know whether this is someone in the military hierarchy or in the DOJ affecting investigations. But even still, there should be a significant internal investigation. If somebody was spitting in the hamburgers, whether it's White Castle or the White House, the manager's going to want to know who it is so we can weed it out.
Yeah, I mean, Max, do you disagree that the American public deserves to know who's saying this?
No, I absolutely agree. I think the proper venue for this would have been Congress, the Judiciary Committee. But because this Congress is so complicit in propping up this administration, there are so few avenues left for actually airing concerns and letting people know the truth.
Joe, is this a matter of national security when you have someone in the White House who's saying these things, who wants to remain anonymous when, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people in the American public sit there and think, if we're going to be successful here in this administration and we want the country to succeed, why are you trying to undermine what the president is doing for us?
Well, even play devil's advocate. If you don't like President Trump and you don't think what he's doing is right, you still want to judge him fairly. And in order to do that, you have to assume that his policies are being carried out, full. The Constitution gives executive power wholly and unilaterally to the president of the United States, not his staff. This is not something that any president prior to him has ever had to have. And this is something that needs to be eliminated and eradicated.
Yeah, and it's okay. Look, I mean, people on all sides of the aisle have been at a place at some point in history where somebody hasn't liked the president, right? It's okay for you to have a difference of opinion about who's in the White House. But the thing is, Max, and I want to get your take on what I just said, is it a matter of national security when you have people in the White House undermining what the president is trying to do for the people who elected him, who put him in there?
I think there's absolutely one president at a time. And the last thing we need is a bunch of shadow presidents deciding what policy is. What concerns me is someone like Senator Jeff Flake has said that he gets news like this 3 or 4 times a week. And it's shocking that the response to someone claiming there's a security risk and the president is endangering the country is for Jeff Flake to shrug his shoulders and say, yeah, that sounds right, and then hold no investigations and no oversight into these incredibly disturbing claims.
Well, I'd be surprised if we don't find out who it is at some point. Who knows if we really do find out? Who knows how long that will take? But Max and Joe, we appreciate it.
Thanks.